Abalone are sea snails. The red abalone is the largest species of abalone that can be found in the whole world. So abalone throughout California's history has been a really popular fishery, both recreational and commercial. And in the 80s, there started to be a notice of the decline of the wild populations. Red abalone are considered threatened, but the thing is we have 1 million here on land. So it's not something where we can say, oh, these are critically endangered, because we know we have 1 million of them. Those are things that we consider when you're considering the threatened status of a species. We are a farm that commercially produces red abalone. If any restaurant is using abalone from the United States, it's coming to you from a farm. What's crazy is it's really just coming from our farm too. Like, there's 2 abalone farms in California, us, and then another one in Monterey. And Monterey buys seed abalone from us. So any abalone that you eat started here. We really want to make abalone that California icon again. So I'm gonna begin to prepare this tank for a harvest. So as it's draining, we are able to see all of the abalone that are here in this tank. It makes it a lot easier to find them and harvest them once they're out of the water. Right now, he's taking them off the sides of the tank, and then he'll be weighing them and sorting them into different size categories to send to our restaurants and other customers. This is a very specialized skill to be able to take these abalone off. They don't have clotting factors in their blood, so if he were to accidentally nick an animal, that would be the loss of that animal. So what he's working on is finding our standard size, so that's the 1/4 of the pound animals that we harvest most regularly and sell to most of our customers. The largest size that we sell is our Balthazars, which are 2.5 pounds each. And abalone continue to grow throughout their entire life, so they'll get bigger and bigger. This is just the size that makes the most sense for restaurants. It's easy for them to work with. It's a little less intimidating than a big 2.5 pound snail. The speed that our Halio takes when he's taking these abalone off the tank and doing so safely is really a testament to all of the years of work he's put into this, and really the honed skill of harvesting abalone. It's not something that you can just easily do. He does it safely and quickly, and really allows us to bring a lot of abalone to plates.
So this kelp was cut a couple days ago from the Santa Barbara Channel, and now we're unloading it into these tractor trailers, where from there it'll be fed by hand to all 450 plus tanks full of abalone and sea urchins. And this week we cut about 30,000 pounds of kelp, which is just about our average.
So right now we're working on feeding out kelp to our production animals. So these are all red abalone that are being fed fresh cut kelp by the armful. We do this every week to make sure our abalone have everything they need to grow big and strong. They'll eat through the blades first, the leafy parts, but then after that they'll eat through the stem, the air bladders. They'll completely clean their tank. Abalone are found worldwide in temperate ecosystems, so where you find cooler water. Their favorite food is kelp. We really try to meet their natural needs as much as possible. A big effort involved in this is wild harvesting giant kelp and bringing it here to our farm. Having this commercial kelp harvest permit is really what allows us to maintain ourselves as a farm, and we wouldn't be able to raise abalone as naturally, as effectively, without having access to that wild kelp. So we can notice when feeding here, abalone have a special mouth part that's called a radula. You can think of it as just a tongue lined with teeth. And so they're scraping away at the algae. So he has his mouth sticking out here, and the eye stalks are to either side as well. Everything that lives in the ocean looks like an alien if you look hard enough. Abalone are gastropod mollusks, so they are sea snails. And you can see here they have 2 little eyes. Their mouth is the darker part at the center. That's where that radula is, where they use to scrape at the algae. You can see here this one's starting to use its foot to grab hold of my hand. The foot is really their main protection. Yes, the shell covers their soft body, but the foot is what they use to hold on to rocks and prevent other animals from eating them. And then up here, these are respiratory pores or apertures. These are really universal for a lot of things in the abalone. This is where they release their waste products from. It's also where they'll release their gametes from, either eggs or sperm. And then, let's see, their gills are actually tucked in right under them. So this is also how they can kind of force water over their gills. It helps them to breathe. And our Halio always says, if you get the last bit, that's good luck. So I get some good luck today. Life for our abalone starts in our hatchery. So right now in our hatchery, we have 5 million white abalone eggs.
We received these from Bodega Marine Lab, white abalone production, which is really exciting because this is a rare abalone that's being raised here for conservation and outplanting. We're right now in the process of doing an incubator change. What that means is that we have these incubator setups where fertilized eggs are placed into these. And after about 24 hours, those eggs will hatch and the larvae will start swimming around. In the wild, they would be swimming up into the water column and swimming in the ocean for about a week before they find a new rocky reef to settle on. And in order to mimic that freshwater surge they'd be getting by being in the open ocean, we change the salt water in here once a day. So in each of these, we start with about 1 million fertilized eggs. And when we settle, we hope to get a few 100,000 larvae out of each. And that is a normal part of abalone life history. You start with millions of eggs, you'll have hundreds of thousands of larvae settle, and then hopefully you'll have tens of thousands make it to adulthood. They're microscopic. I like to describe them as looking like a pepper or salt flake, because they are just that small. What's really cool though is that even though they're this small, they do already have a shell. So we have our full incubator, we have our pipe in the right angle, so I can now take one of my hoses, make sure I have a good amount of flow, and that will slowly fill up and the larvae will go over to the other side. So if you look in, you can see that all of our larvae have transferred over from the back incubator to the front incubator. So everyone is over here, they've made it, we're happy, we're good to go. When they're ready to settle, we will then take them and settle them in these tanks. If you look inside these tanks, you can see they're a little bit green, and that's good. We like a green tank. What all that green is microalgae or microscopic algae, and that's their food.
Our abalone will spend about 6 months in their hatchery before they're moved outside to the intermediates. In the intermediates, they'll spend 1 year to 2 years there. This is the stage where we'll start to sort them out by size and move the bigger ones forward, leave the smaller ones behind so that they have more time to grow in those conditions. Right now, Colin's working on feeding out our red seaweed to our intermediate abalone. These are our little guys feeding on the little seaweed that's grown on site. And we do this a couple times a week to make sure our abalone are growing happy and healthy. In addition to raising abalone, we also grow 2 species of red seaweed on site, Ogo and Dulce. These are species that we sell to restaurants, but are also really important as abalone food. Both of these species of seaweed are smaller, so it works really well to feed them to the smaller animals.
You want to spread it out throughout the tank so the abalone don't have to travel too far to get their meal. And depending on the amount of the abalone, the population inside the tank is depends on and the size depends on the volume you'll feed them. Also, there are some little areas that they really like to hang out, particularly by the water flow. So, pack a little extra in here because there might be a little party going on right in the corner here.
When we move them from the intermediates, the next stage they go to is called the racks. The racks are larger tanks, and that is when we switch their diet to the giant kelp. And they'll spend, it really varies, they'll spend 1 year to maybe 3 years in this system before they are moved forward by weight into harvest tanks. These are our racks. Right now our team is working with animals that were spawned in 2021, and they are moving these to their next tanks. They've had lots of time and lots of kelp to grow, and now they're ready to move into our production tanks. Gerardo is using his spatula to safely remove those abalone from their tanks, and then they're being put in baskets. They'll move these baskets into the wheelbarrow and then use the wheelbarrow to move them to the tank on the other side of the farm. Other cool thing I like to point out at this size is the shell coloration we see here. This shell coloration isn't necessarily what you would see in the wild, but because of how we feeding specific foods at specific stages, we see this really cool striping. So this green color comes in from when we start feeding them giant kelp. And the red color kind of highlights times that we've had to supplement with red seaweed. So in that intermediate size, they're typically all dark red because they've only been feeding on red seaweed. You can see the mark from when they were moved from that tank to this system because that's when the green starts. So this is Blanca, she's our harvest team lead. And right now she's working on sorting out the animals of different sizes in that rat tank we were just at. And then based on what size they are, they'll go to different tanks so that they can continue to grow with buddies of similar sizes. She separates them, brings them to her scale, and then she knows my animals that are 40 to 60 grams are over here. Some of them are actually ready to go to market, but most of what she's doing right now is just moving them to the next tank so that they can continue to grow. Blanca's worked here for over 20 years. She's, I like to say, the mother of all the abalone. And all the people too. This is one of our head tanks. This is where all of our seawater comes to before it's distributed to the rest of the tanks on our farm. This is the tallest point on our farm, so all of the water is gravity fed to the rest of the tanks we have here. So to get the water to this point, we have 2 pipes that go out into the Santa Barbara Channel. They go about 1,000 feet out, 40 feet deep. With the pressure of the ocean, that water is naturally brought up to the beach. This is the only reason our farm's able to operate, and this is what keeps our animals healthy, happy.
All right, so I'm gonna start by grabbing some of our standard size abalone that were harvested this week to ship out to some of our customers. And we harvest those between 110 and 135 grams. So this is our standard 4 count. So you get an average of 4 abalone per pound. And I'll pack those up. Everything that we sell is sold whole and live. So the goal is it arrives to restaurants, wholesaler distributors alive and well. Fresh as possible, yeah. So in these boxes, I just have gel ice packs, and that keeps the box cold enough for them to survive. And then once they arrive to people's houses or to restaurants, they can stay in the fridge for 3 to 4 days, and they're still alive, still fresh. And this one is going to Illis in New York.
My favorite thing about working here is getting to use science in such a normal and everyday way. It's not something where I need to sit in a lab and I'm focused on making this report. I feel like I'm using my science background to do something that just has an impact in a way that fulfills me more. I get a better feeling off raising big, happy abalone than getting my name in some publication. And so what I see here is not normal. We have 1 million abalone on site, and working with different endangered species, working with leading researchers, all of those things make it a really meaningful place to work.